And joining us right now is Bill Richardson, the former governor of New Mexico, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and former U.S. Secretary of Energy. Governor, always great to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Good to be with you.
All right. I just played, I don't know if you were able to hear, I just played a whole bunch of stuff regarding Sonia Sotomayor, her statement that by nature a female Latina would make a better justice than a white male. Where do you stand on this whole Donald Trump controversy with the judge?
Well, I believe that Trump is out of control. I mean, we cannot obviously politicize the judiciary. He is racially profiling. He's being racist in his comments about a judge that was born in Indiana, Mexican descent. So what does that mean? Because Trump is Scottish, that if somebody rules against him in his country club in Scotland, that they're biased against him? You know, he's out of control. And I don't believe anything he says right now, and it's going to cost him at the polls, Steve.
Well, okay, so when Sonia Sotomayor, and I know it goes back to '01, when she said at the law school at California, Berkeley, while she, in 2001, before she was nominated, the comment she made, I would hope that a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experience would more often than not reach a better conclusion as a judge than a white male who hasn't lived that life. wasn't she playing the same game, and yet she was confirmed overwhelmingly to be a Supreme Court justice?
No, that's not the same. I mean, there'd never been a Latino on the Supreme Court. What she was simply saying is her lifelong experience of diversity would enrich the Supreme Court. No, that's not the same. I mean, Trump is saying that the heritage of an individual, of a judge, is going to affect their judgment. I mean, this is also unconstitutional besides being racist.
Well, of course, you're familiar with his statement that he put out where he kind of took it back, or not took it back, but explained that he's being misconstrued and misunderstood. If I agree that he's explaining it very, very poorly, he has done a terrible job, and there's no excuse for that. But if he had said, look, this guy is a member of a group that is called La Raza, the Lawyers Association of La Raza. The La Raza website has that link on its website, so whether they're affiliated or not, they are linked on the website. This guy gave the case to a group of lawyers that contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to Clinton and her husband. There's something going on here I don't like. If he had said that, would that have been a correct way of expressing his concern?
Yeah, I think if he had politicized it in terms of contributions, it would have been more palatable, but it's still wrong. I mean, there should not be an interference between Congress, the executive branch, and the judiciary and judges. And Trump has done that. He's overstepped that. He's out of control. And what he is doing, I believe, is digging himself into holes that even Republicans are not going to be able to support him.
All right, let me ask you about Suzanne Martinez, of course, governor of New Mexico, as a position you held. His criticism of her. Do you believe that they will make nice, or do you believe that even if they do, that New Mexico, will go for Hillary or the Democrat?
Well, New Mexico, I believe, will go for Hillary and the Democrats. I do think they will make nice. I do agree with Trump saying that she was a bad governor. I do agree with that. But I don't understand his politics of saying this when he needs her support. She is chair of the Republican Governors Association. She is the only Latina governor. That's not a way to get her support, by attacking her in her own hometown. So I don't understand the politics of Trump's thinking. He seems to be out of control in terms of his emotions, his temperament, and this is another reason why I think voters are going to reject him.
All right, let me ask you about the election tonight. Of course, California, New Jersey. AP announced last night that Hillary was already over the top. Sanders says today, or his people say today, there's not going to be any backing out. He's going all the way to the convention. Should Sanders, after tonight, or especially after tonight, maybe he disputes the AP figures, but if it's clear that Hillary has the delegates, should Sanders drop out and throw his support to Hillary?
Well, I think eventually, yes, it doesn't have to be right away. If Hillary has enough delegates, and she, I believe, will, she's 23 short right now. She's got 3 million more voters than Sanders has, 287 more delegates. Yeah, I think you have to do the math. And I think what Sanders wants to be and should be is a statesman, a party leader in the future. He goes back to the Senate, has a major role at the convention, maybe in the picking of a vice president. I think it's important for the party to unify, but I'm not one of those that say that Sanders should do this immediately. I think what needs to happen is he needs to engage his supporters. You know, you never want to get ahead of your supporters. And emotionally, everybody's really up, especially right after an election. Your tempers are flaring. So take a little time. But eventually, I think Bernie Sanders will do the right thing, will support Hillary Clinton, and he will be a major force in the party, and he deserves to be.
What about his supporters that you just alluded to? He said as recently as the other day, I can't tell my supporters who to vote for. I can't tell them to vote for Hillary. Do you believe that especially the young people who have overwhelmingly on the Democrat side coalesced around Bernie Sanders very passionately, do you see them in the end, whether they vote for Trump or not, whether they stay home or not, you see them actually going to the polls and voting for Hillary?
I think a majority will, but it's going to take Hillary reaching out. It's going to take her talking about income inequality, student loan debt. I think there's up for grabs a sector of the electorate, Steve. One is independent voters. I think they're going to reject Trump, and disaffected Republicans, national security Republicans, concerned about his positions on foreign policy and national security. And I think those voters will be up for grabs, but it is going to be important that Hillary reach out to that Sanders coalition, which is a good part of the progressive Democratic Party. And it's going to take some doing, and it's going to take a little time. And this is why I'm saying we don't need to, like on Wednesday, declare that Sanders needs to endorse Hillary. Both ways, both sides need to coalesce their supporters around Hillary Clinton.
All right, let me ask you this. One more question, sir. North Korea. No one knows North Korea better than you. What about this possible relationship if Trump wins? I know you don't want him to win, but if Trump were to win, do you see that he could have a relationship with North Korea of any significance, open up North Korea at all?
I don't see it, Steve, because he's also called for nuclear weapons for South Korea, for Japan. That's only going to destabilize the region more in Northeast Asia, especially since North Korea is continuing their path towards more nuclear weapons. They may have 8 or 9 now. They have missiles. And his call for meeting directly with Kim Jong-un without preparatory work, when in the same speech he's called him a nut, or a previous speech. You can't do foreign policy negotiating like for a casino or a reality show or a new hotel. This is serious life and death business.
Gotcha.
And you don't do that.
Governor, always a pleasure. Thank you for making time for us, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Always good to talk to Governor Bill Richardson, and we have a lot more ahead, folks. We're going to take your phone calls at 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. Miranda Khan will join us with a special report. Then she and I will take your calls. Don't go away.